Hey, Roadrunner fam, I hope y'all are doing well. I'm doing great. Welcome to another episode of Roadrunners Unfiltered. I'm going to talk about a few topics today. I want to talk about the Alamo Dome versus the prospect of having a new stadium on campus. I'm going to get into NIL stuff, Lisa Campos, the Park West Fieldhouse, AAC, AAC Media Days going on right now, all that stuff. So make sure you guys hit that like button and please subscribe to the channel. It's going to be huge for what's coming up this season, and your subscription will mean the world to me and everyone who's helping making the Roadrunners Unfiltered train go forward. So yes, I have a goal of getting to 500 subscribers before the beginning of the season so we can start doing the live chats that I'm talking about. So that's the plan, that's the goal. So tell a friend, make sure you subscribe for yourself, all that good stuff. We're good to go. Cool. Now let's jump into it. The Alamo Dome versus the prospect of having a new stadium. So I am not exactly sure what the discourse around this is at the moment. I just seen some of it on UTSA's Twitter, or not the actual account UTSA, but just in UTSA Twitter in general. I seen a little bit of discussion on it, and I thought I'd weigh in on my thoughts on this. So I think both have benefits, right? I like the Alamo Dome in itself. I think it brings about a big time atmosphere for whatever reason. Even if we don't pack it, just going to the Alamo Dome just feels big. And to me, it puts UTSA in a different, I don't know, class maybe. I don't know why I feel that way. It just does. I like the facility. I like what they did with what they've done to the locker room and some of the amenities that it has. It's not the best thing I've ever been into, but it's definitely not bad. You go into some of these other stadiums and these other places, and it's far worse than what's at our disposal at UTSA. Also, I like the fact that it's a dome. I mean, you get perfect weather every single home game. Like, you gotta love it. And I think that the sound is boosted in the Alamo Dome, if I'm being completely honest. Now, I don't know any of that for sure, but it just seems like that dome, once it's rocking, bro, it is rocking. We just gotta pack it. That's the big thing. If we pack it, we can really capitalize off that benefit. But sometimes we don't always pack it, so let's make sure we pack it. But all that aside, I think it's probably cheaper, at least in the short term, to play games at the Alamo Dome. I'm sure that has a lot to do with this whole thing. You know, building a stadium and all the construction costs and all of that. You got to raise a lot of money to do that and that sort of thing. So I'm sure there's financials in play that can slow down this. And I think the roadmap for the facility improvements is still available via PDF on utsa.edu website that shows what the plan is for the phases. And I believe on phase 4, and if I'm wrong about this, I'm just wrong, but I believe in phase 4, a 35,000 seat capacity football stadium would be a part of that phase 4, right? So that would be great. So I guess I'll go into what a stadium could do for the team. So I do like the idea of having something a bit closer to campus, because my main feeling for this is because the Alamo Dome can sit anywhere from 60 to 70,000 people in it. If we're putting in about, let's just say, an average of, I'm sure it's somewhere in the ballpark of 25,000 folks in the seats per game, it looks a lot different if you do that in a stadium with a capacity of 35,000 and a stadium with a capacity of 70,000. The imagery is a lot different, and it changes the narrative. It changes the feeling of, if we have enough fans there, is it loud enough? Does the team feel more supported, and all that type of stuff, right? So I think that if you put 25,000 in a 35,000 capacity stadium, it's going to look pretty much full, to be honest. It's going to look not full, but like, it's going to look better. The imagery would be a lot better, right? But also one thing I think, just thinking about that, like if you think about students showing up, and it's convenient because they don't have to travel far away from their homes. They don't have to go hop on a bus and get chartered downtown and have to deal with that. Some of these people can just get up, and some of them will probably be in vicinity to just walk to the stadium, which would be excellent. Especially just think about it. If you don't have anything to do on a Saturday, why not go to the game, right? If people are going to be tailgating and drinking and having partying and having a good time, why not go do that on a Saturday? Why not? So I think that's a benefit. So I think you're going to get better attendance from the students because they live in close proximity to the campus. You're going to have I think you would have more support from some of the faculty and staff that are there, just because they probably live in close proximity to the country, considering that, or I said country, close proximity to the campus because they work there, obviously, right? So anyway, I think those are huge benefits. So I think we'll get a lot closer to packing that thing out and selling out games if things were on campus. I firmly believe that. And I think that's the best way. Like, the football team loves to be supported. And listen, if we're going to be able to pack out, and I think it's realistic too. Like, you can get behind packing out the stadium if it's at 35,000 people. Because think about it, man. We hit, the first game was 56,000, I want to say. And we hadn't come close to that since. That first year, we hadn't came close to the first year's attendance numbers, the first 2 years, I think, attendance numbers at all. And we've settled in the point to where we're starting to get, just because of Coach Traylor's success, we're starting to get more people to come back. But having a stadium that seats 35,000, I think it would be not easy to push people to go and easy to build a campaign around packing that thing out, because your target is a lesser number. Yeah, I think that'd be a good one, especially for a school that size. So, yeah, I'm in favor. I guess, I'm in favor of a new stadium if it makes sense, if it's doable and it's doable right. Don't build no shitty stadium. You got to build a nice one. But yeah, I think that'll be cool. The next thing I want to talk about was the Park West Fieldhouse opening up. Man, that's great to see, because what's funny is, I joke about it with some of my buddies who played when I played. It's crazy that it's been I went there. It's embarrassing to say because I feel old now, but over a decade. It's been a decade since I reported into UTSA as a freshman. 2010 it was. But anyway, I talked to some of the people that was around during that time, and they were recruiting us off of this dream that all this stuff will be built for the football team within this particular, there's my doorbell, but within this particular point in time, right? And with that, we all kind of fell in love with that dream and the idea. And although their timeline was way too aggressive, it was crazy how they had this 7-year plan, that all this stuff, and they're like, yeah, you're going to miss out on some of this, but you're going to get the bulk of it in general. And no, we did not get the bulk of it. We got some of it, but not the bulk of it. But it's good to see that the plan is still intact and is still in play, and there you go. So yeah, the timeline was a little aggressive, guys, but we're starting to actually build it out. So that's pretty cool. The next thing I want to talk about was, with that, it gave Lisa Campos, I don't know if an opportunity is the right way to put this, but she basically had to face the media and answer some questions around what UTSA's plans are in terms of what they're going to do with the money and all this type of stuff. And I think it's quite convenient that it came at this time. It can be convenient for both parties, right? The UTSA fan base have been pretty hard on her over the last month or so, just talking about things that they're not pleased with, marketing, season ticket sales. It was a big part. She was the thumbnail to my first iteration of the YouTube podcast, right? So yeah, it was pretty convenient. I think she answered questions well, and I think what I got from it is she understands the situation. She understands that people have a lot of questions. Our biggest donors some of our donors are active, very active on Twitter, and just voicing their opinions as they should. People who are putting big chunks into the program, you damn right they should want to know where their money's going, and they should want to know, because you got to imagine, like, people or these UTSA folks are trying to go in and get donors. I'm sure we all get the calls, join this fund, that fund, this fund, that fund, to support the team. And for those donors who are putting up big money, they're not putting up that money just for shits and giggles. I am sure they are being promised that there are going to be some commitments from the folks in charge to ensure that things get done in a way that's going to propel the program forward. So when donors get pissed on Twitter because they're not seeing that, I don't necessarily think we should point the finger at the donor for complaining. Now, I've not donated enough money to be a part of those type of conversations, and I wouldn't, ask any of those questions to donors and what people have been promised and what folks have said over shaking hands for getting somebody to commit a large sum of money. But yeah, I'd imagine that if you donated a lot of money as well, you'd be pretty pissed if you're not seeing what your money's going to. So anyway, I thought that she answered some questions to keep people calm, or to kind of calm the waters a bit, but I still think that there's just going to be pressure. It's going to be pressure, and I'm going to tell you why. It's just the next. It's actually the next bullet point, the NIL stuff. They're going to have to figure that stuff out in a big way. And I touched on this before, and I'm going to continue to harp on it until I start seeing that we really enter this space and really become a huge player. Because I have some friends, just playing football, you talk to people all the time, got a lot of relationships with guys around football programs who are coaches and, former players and all this type of stuff. And like, man, the NIL money is getting a little crazy for schools that you wouldn't think you wouldn't think they have those deep of pockets, right? And what I mean by that is, like, there's guys who aren't even like star players or top players that might just be new recruits that are getting paid day one. Good money. Now, from what I hear, there are some guys on our team that are getting paid pretty well. But compared to, if I'm just being frank, compared to some of the numbers I've heard elsewhere, I don't know if the top players on our team are getting their due on some of this, but I think it's getting close. From just, this is all just speculation. I'm just talking about numbers that I've heard, and I don't even feel comfortable putting anything out there because I don't know. It's all like water cooler talk. You just hear different things, so I think it would be irresponsible to put money out there. But like I'll just say teams that are on our levels, on, I would say, UTSA levels, some of those programs are really forking out cash. But the advantage that they have over us is they've been around for a long time. I mean, UTSA's been around for just over a decade in terms of football, right? So there's just a discrepancy there, just like needing more donors and having more time and things like that to really grow a community of people who have bought into investing into the program. So that stuff is going to take time, and I think we just have to be patient as a fan base and understand that. However, the people with the power need to be creative because, as I said last week, or on the first pod, and I'll continue to say, we have a coach that will take us further than what I think we can even imagine. And he can only do that if he has the resources to do so. So let's just keep that in mind. This is not me doing a bit for UTSA trying to encourage more people to donate. I'm just being realistic of like where this is going. NIL money, I mean, it's only just started. Like we're starting to hear crazy numbers and stuff like that, and it's brand new. Just wait. Just wait till everything is fully fleshed out and we get a couple years behind this. It's going to get really crazy. So I just want us to be a beneficiary of all of this and not a team and a program that is going to be severely, punish is the wrong word, but just hurt because we don't have the means to be able to pay some of these players or get these players paid the way other programs are. So anyway, there's always going to be conversation about the NIL stuff. And it's just interesting because it's one of the things that I never got to experience any of this. So it's just a hard thing to figure out. I don't know what they're going to do because I don't think at this point regulation is going to happen. And I don't think it should, quite frankly. The AAC embracing us to host the outdoor championships is so dope though. Like I think, I think that we have a really big opportunity as a program in all sports to really make some noise in this conference. Some of the requirements to even be in the conference is really big, and I'm glad that we were able to meet those and satisfy those requirements and be able to be one of those schools. It just feels good. It feels good. There's no other way to say it. It feels good to be a recognizable program that is known for success, that are known for winning championships. It feels great. It feels great. And it feels good to go into seasons with expectations. It feels damn good. So I don't know what else to say other than great job, UTSA, and we need to support them as much as we can so we can continue to have the resources to allow us to do it. But yeah, it feels good. It feels good. I'm probably going to put out another pod or do another pod if anything big breaks after Media Day, because I know Traylor, Harris, and Wisdom is out doing the AAC Media Day today, I believe. So that was cool. I thought it was interesting that they're on a private jet. They took a private jet out there. Look at UTSA. That's what look at us. We're big dogs now. Taking the PJ. That was dope. And I think Coach Traylor put like, hey, the only way I can get those two back if they said we flew private to the next one. So I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, it's just cool to see the program be able to do stuff like that, man. It really is. So hats off to the donors on that front for sure. Anyway, that was the last thing on my list today. As we get closer, I'm going to start going deeper and deeper into some of the analytical things from a football standpoint. but I am trying my best to be patient with doing some of that because breaking down old film whenever you have players that's not like think about this. I was cutting up some film from last year, and I even some of the stuff I put in the last video on Frank Harris. He's throwing the ball to Zachary Franklin. He throws the ball to a lot of him. That dude had a lot of highlights. He's no longer with us. So, yeah, I'm going to get more technical as we get closer to football, but make sure you guys subscribe to the YouTube channel. Once again, I'll say it. The goal is 500. I really, really appreciate you guys tremendously for subscribing. For those of you who've already subscribed, I really, really appreciate it. Like I said, we're going to do a live chat this year. It's going to be instant reaction to the game. It's probably going to be on Sunday mornings, the day after the game. And we're going to go from there. So I hope all you guys will join me during that. But I really need to get to this 500 mark so we can do this because, like I said, I don't want to do it if there's not going to be a bunch of participation because it defeats the purpose. I don't want to do a live chat and it's just me talking to myself. I'd like to interact with you guys, answer all of your questions, and going from there. Sounds good? All right. Thank you guys for watching, and see you guys next week.